Sorry, guys. I ran to get me a drink. All right, we're getting ready to start. Love you too, Naomi. What is up, everyone? How are y'all doing? Let me pin that. Okay. Let me read the rules. We're going to test something real quick because I'm going to see if I set it up right. And then I'm going to get into a little bit of what all this shit is about and how I can kick myself in my own ass for not covering it in the first place. So, I am so mad at myself that I didn't cover this. And okay, we'll get into that. Hold on. Let me read the rules real quick. Welcome to Xylie Gets Real Stream. No racial slurs, ism, phobias, or shaming. No outside drama, personal beefs in the chat. Everyone is welcome here. Even if you call me OBBB. Okay. Speaking of OBBB, let me see if this will work. Hold on. Alright, let's see if this works. Okay, hold on. We're going to see if this works. I know I just donated myself so I can hear this, see if this works. Oh, and there goes Amber. I just spent $2 of my own damn dollars, Amber.
She's a miserable old woman with no edges that looks horrible, bro.
And that is the new tone, ladies and gentlemen. That is a new tone. By the way, Amber, thank you for the $4.99 with my favorite controller. Let me turn that up a little bit.
She's a miserable old woman with no edges that looks horrible, bro.
And there we go. And there we go. All right, so that's off the docket. I just wanted to make sure that worked. All right. OBBB. You know it. You know it. All right, so we are going to watch John Swan's video called Zero Shame, The Technicals Cover-Up. Oh, wait, I hope yeah, I did it here, too. I'm waiting for it. Thank you for the awesome content, Abigail. Thank you, Abigail. I appreciate the two. Okay. So, I'll stop once that pops up. With this story, it all started with Technical's video on ZeRo. ZeRo is a Smash player that when the Me Too hit in 2020, when the Me Too hit the gaming, I don't know if y'all saw it on Twitter, but a bunch of people came out. Why is it not... Hold on. Why are you not playing on here? Nope. Nope. No, it worked on the last one just like the same. Alright. I don't know why it hasn't popped up yet. That's weird. That's suspicious. Alright, is it different on here? Nope. Same way. I don't know why it hasn't popped up.
She's a miserable old woman with no edges that looks horrible, bro.
Yes, I am. Okay. So, Technicals made a video on ZeRo. ZeRo was part of... Somebody came out about ZeRo. Several people did during the Me Too in gaming last year in 2020 on Twitter. Okay. Technicals made this video where everybody was kind of okay with it until it got to a part about a girl named Katie. And I'm going to be honest with you, all right? Skip and I watched this video separate, all right? I get a message from Skip. Skip's going, yo, you seen that video? And I'm like, no, not yet, but I'm going to go watch that video. So I go to watch the video. Had problems with it since the beginning. It is suspect to me that there is still one open allegation on someone and you just glide right through it. You don't include the girl's twit longer about it, and you don't read out the messages between ZeRo and this 14-year-old girl. Okay? You just flash them on the screen. You don't read any of them out. Because most people, when they watch a video, they don't stop and read what's on the screen. Okay? And then you package up what he did. You glide by the still open accusation and you give reasons for it. Had a bad childhood. Oh, he admitted to it because he was suicidal, but thank God his wife cooked him a good meal. So, yeah, I had problems with this video from Jump Street. And I didn't react to it and I didn't say anything. Then Augie did a live stream and him and Nick were up there and they were talking about that part also. Mind you, I already had problems with that part. And they were talking about it. Again, I didn't react to it because I agreed with them on there. And then Thanksgiving came and it was all out war in the commentary community because Technicals was basically fighting everybody on Twitter. Again, I did not react to it. Then Technicals and Augie went on Keemstar's gaming channel and debated. And my God, Technicals was so disingenuous in that debate. That was actually the video that y'all were supposed to get, but I felt like I fucked up on it and y'all didn't get it. So again, I didn't react. And then Augie went live again the day after Thanksgiving. Well, no, that was before the debate, but still didn't react. So I'm reacting this time. And I'm going to say exactly how I've been fucking feeling this whole entire time. And I'm telling y'all now, I only disagree with John Swan, but in a slight way. I agree with what he said, but I add more to it, as in, no, I think it's that, but it's also this too. I add it. But most part, I agree with John Swan's video. Now, I understand it's John Swan. And I understand people don't like John Swan. I don't care for John Swan, and I still think what he did to Pie Man was absolutely fucking ridiculous. Now, him and Pie Man are cool, but I still have some feelings about how he treated Pie Man. I do. All right, and you can see that in one of the videos that I have. But John hit the mark with this video. John Swan hit the mark with this video because he literally said almost everything I've been feeling about this video. Almost everything. So we are going to watch it. Because here's my thing, and y'all know how I am. I don't care if I like you or not. If I agree with you, I agree with you. It has nothing to do whether I like you or not. I don't let my emotion of not liking someone get in the way on whether I agree with them or not. Because if I like you and I don't agree with you, well, then I don't agree with you. We just did a video about Nikocado Avocado. I like Riefenstein. I like her content. I did not like that Nikocado Avocado video. So it's not about that with me. I'm about facts. So. Alright, so we are going to watch this video. Make sure my volume's up. It is. And we're going to go ahead and get started because it's an hour-long video. Oh! And I forgot to tell y'all this. My bad. I'm about to give y'all an exclusive. So only 71 of y'all are going to know this. Oh, 74 of y'all are going to know this, okay? So when I first initially watched this John Swan video, I was actually interviewing Willie Mack, who is going to be on the next podcast dropping tomorrow from members. Oh, and by the way, that's going to be, y'all know how it goes. It drops for members for a week. There is some exclusive information in that podcast, FYI. Again, it's going to be for members only for a week. But we got finished. Excuse me. We got finished doing the podcast, and we were just talking, shooting the shit. And I said, "Oh shit, John Swan just dropped a video." He goes, "He did?" I said, "Dude, he just dropped a video about ZeRo and technicals." And Willie Mack was like, "Nope, we're watching it right now. Let's go. We're watching it right now. Me and you right now. We're watching it." Yes. And, woo, it was a ride. I've watched it like 2 times since then because I want to get the memory of it. Oh my, okay, Amber Chick. We also talked about the simps in my community that simps over Willie Mack. Amber Chick's like, I'm going to watch that about 4,500 times. He's such a cutie to me, not going to lie. Well, can you at least wait until like a week later when it gets monetized? Can you watch it 4,500 times then? Skip said, things have gotten so convoluted, it was necessary to lay out the inconsistencies. Swan was the one to do the thing. And that's absolutely true. Because let me tell you something. I was going to cover that debate. I was literally going to have a list of like 10 videos and live streams for people to get the backstory of what the hell was going on. But John Swan put it together in an hour video. I have to give it to him. Spice is like, thank you for interviewing my boyfriend, but y'all need to stop. Willie Mack is a little shit. I even called him my little shit nephew. Y'all ain't gonna be standing my nephew like that. What the hell is wrong with y'all? Ugh, I got a chat full of huzzies. I'm ashamed of y'all. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I'm ashamed of every single one of y'all. Oh my God, they fighting in the chat. All right, let's go. And yes, I want to do it on 1.25, but I think it goes a little bit too fast because I want y'all to take this information in. All right, we'll try it on 1.25. If it's too fast, let me know. All right, so this video is an opinion piece. All the information in this video is alleged, and all parties discussed are innocent until proven guilty. This video discusses hold on. This video discusses public figures and allegations that have been levied against them by other individuals. Please don't tell me anything else. Do not harass anyone mentioned in this video, obviously.
Technicals is a YouTuber who is known for doing the impossible, uncancelling the cancelled, and turning the community's anger back towards the real perpetrators. For a channel with only 80,000 subscribers, he has a reputation and influence far beyond what his modestly sized fanbase would suggest. His work has been praised by many, and he single-handedly rebuilt the careers of some of the most publicly detested creators.
He made a Sky Williams video that was actually really good, and it cleared up a lot about Sky Williams. This is about the Smash community. Smash, like Mario Brothers Smash, the video game, the fighting game. All right, this is that community. Woo, that community. Okay.
In Smash. But what if the person he was defending was actually guilty? What if Technicals was so blinded by his own ego that he vindicated someone who was rightfully shunned? What if he let his personal grievances impact his work to the point where it is devoid of common sense? And
yes, and he did that damn hashtag welcome back ZeRo. Y'all gonna see why I'm getting mad about that. Cringy, thank you. I didn't know who this guy was 2 weeks ago, and it was better time.
There's a old woman with no edges that looks horrible, bro.
Thank you, Cringy, for the $4.49.
What if this wasn't the first time? Today, I'll be dissecting Technicals' work and the recent drama he's got himself into, exploring his motivations and what made him this way, as well as rightfully exposing the Smash creator known as ZeRo, the one who got away.
That's the name of the game, Amber Chick. You're so shady.
This may be a little personal, but I like ZeRo.
Okay, this is Technicals, everyone. Just to let you know. This is Technicals.
And if he decides to continue making content, I can't think of a single reason not to.
I can. I could make several reasons why, but John Swan gets into it, so I will have my fit then. Okay? I will have my fit then. But I can name several reasons why he shouldn't be back in. I'm just saying. Whew.
Even after gaining significantly more money and more access to minors, there's been no new cases.
I mean, this is really bad. I mean, 1914, it's indefensible.
I just want to stress that I don't think ZeRo's a pedophile.
You're making it real hard to believe you. Before he was canceled, he even ran an entire team of children.
Are you saying that you can do a pedophilic action but not be a pedophile?
Yes.
Okay.
He hasn't had a slip up in 7 years.
Why do you call it a slip up? Where is he slipping up from?
Slipping up means getting caught in the act.
Getting caught in what act? What do you think he is?
Red-handed.
Red-handed doing what, Technicals?
Tech's brother got busted in a group chat Tech owned, where Tech's brother would post nude images of himself and lolicon that he had allegedly drawn as well.
Technicals, did your brother post his dick in this chat reminders?
Yes!
Read for yourself, ask the right questions, and who knows? Maybe you too can be a detective.
Okay, I'm sorry, but okay, so y'all know I love me some shade, right? I love me some shade. The level of shade that John Swan did on this video to have the black and white, the damn white shirt and suspenders and looking like an an old school investigator in those black and white movies just like Technicals did. Mwah! Chef's kiss. The level of shade was amazing, and I live for it. I live for it.
Oh, okay. Let's set the scene. Technicals is a YouTuber primarily known for his thorough investigations into the controversies of the Smash community. He's created many long videos dissecting, exposing, and exonerating people in the Smash scene who so supremely deserve it. In fact, he's a creator that I've worked with in the past. I made the intro for his fantastic video on the Sky House, as well as the title card for the video that we're going to talk about today.
Okay, I want y'all to take note of that, right? Because as soon as John Swan came out with this video, Technicals is having a damn fit saying that's your secret weapon, a person who lied to Dream. Okay, he got canceled over that Dream stuff. I still have feelings about the Pie Man stuff, right? But you know what? Here's the thing. You're going to throw that in his face, but he edited stuff for you. He did your title card for you. Sir? Now you have a problem with John Swan because he came out with this video? You didn't have a problem with John Swan's past before this video came out. But now that he made this video, because he pretty much stayed quiet about this shit. When everybody was fighting and it was a melee on freaking Twitter and people were going back and forth, and it got to the point that Bo Blacks, I don't even think, made a video about this because it was too many goddamn tweets. Okay? That bad. But now you got a problem with him, but yet you worked with him before this video? Right before this video? Sir. No, sir.
I always considered his work to be one of the best, and undoubtedly the next one in commentary to make it big. Even though I knew absolutely nothing about Smash, his videos were always incredibly engaging and kept me hooked the whole way through. To be honest, I considered him to be the last one to go off the edge and start saying some insane stuff. He always seemed super level-headed and sensible.
No, he didn't. He fooled y'all. I'm sorry. Whoever thought he was sensible and level-headed, did y'all see his Twitter? No. No, I'm sorry. Y'all got fooled. I knew just from seeing him on Twitter.
But everything I once believed got flipped on its head on the 17th of November, when he dropped his video titled, "What Really Happened to ZeRo?"
Today officially marks the beginning and end of an era in Smash history. In the past year, we've seen a growth in distrust of leadership, entire cases turned upside down, and a once silent majority no longer afraid to question the status quo. I mean, why shouldn't they? The loudest ones are the reason both you and I are here in the first place. But as I said before, that ends today. Because today I'll show you how two of the biggest cases in Smash history have never been solved. Until now.
In July 20...
You notice he said they haven't been solved until now. The other one hasn't been solved either. The one that we have a problem with has not been solved. At all.
20 serious allegations were brought to light that threatened the reputation of one of the Smash community's biggest titans. They focused around ZeRo, a Smash YouTuber with over 1 million subscribers. ZeRo had built a reputation over the previous 15 years of being one of the greatest Super Smash Bros. Players in the world, setting a world record of 56 consecutive tournament wins from November 2014 to October 2015. There seemed to be no stopping ZeRo and his continual success. So the community was rightfully taken by shock when Jisoo, a rather large player in the Smash scene, started to make some rather severe accusations against
y'all need to remember the name Jisoo also.
ZeRo. The community, of course, ate them up without much thought, as they always do. And that's when Technicals comes in. Technicals' past investigations have always been made with the intention of rebuilding a subject's reputation online, and include a public call to action, pressuring the Smash community to apologize or welcome people back. What happened to ZeRo is no exception. The first 13 minutes of the video is exactly what I would expect a good Technicals video to contain. Tech breaks down 5 separate false allegations against ZeRo and solidifies...
You remember how I always preach it, y'all? That somebody, and it happens all the time on YouTube, you know how I preach it, y'all, that people will wrap shit in a really pretty box and put a really pretty bow and people fall for it? That's what Technical's video on ZeRo was. And I'm gonna link the original video in the description. I'm gonna link the original video in the description because you're gonna see what I'm saying.
That Jisoo is still human garbage. There was certainly a severe amount of misinformation and exaggeration when people came out against ZeRo, and Tech was able to skillfully make sense of it all and rightfully blast people who messed it up. But after we reach the 13-minute mark, the mood changes pretty drastically.
This, in my opinion, is probably the only serious and legitimate problem that people have with ZeRo. Everything else is either fabricated, as we've seen, or extremely, and I mean extremely, over-exaggerated, which is honestly a testament to just how clean ZeRo's record is if they have to lie this much.
Spoiler alert, ZeRo's record is not clean at all. Not in the slightest.
Thank you. It sure as fuck isn't. But you know, when you show receipts, and first of all, you don't even show all the receipts in your video. And I'm not talking about John Swan, I'm talking about Technicals. You know, what's this thing about the commentary community? They have this thing against T-Channel. One of their one of their biggest things is they just go off of feelings. They don't go off of facts. Well, what is also facts? Receipts. So if you just flash partial receipts, not everything, but if you just flash them, how many people are actually going to stop to read those receipts? Because what the receipts say and what technical say and what technical makes excuses for are two different things. Two different things. But most people don't stop. They just see a pretty picture. And that's exactly what happened in that video.
Actually. Technicals begins to recount the allegation levied against ZeRo by Katie, an active viewer of ZeRo in 2014. They began chatting on Skype when ZeRo was 19 and Katie was 14. These messages consist of nothing short of ZeRo grooming this young viewer who looked up to him. Surprisingly, Technical's video does not include a reading of the messages or do Katie's story justice at all, highlighting only 10% of Katie's 1,300 word tweet longer.
And here's the funny part. He didn't read those messages back and forth between that 14-year-old and ZeRo, okay? And he only read 10% of her twit longer. Well, you know what happened? The fucking twit longer backs up what happened in the DMs. The twit longer. The whole twit longer backed up what was in the DMs. And he only showed partial of the DMs. He didn't show all the DMs.
So 90% of the context is missing. It was at this point that I realized that Technicals was trying to build a narrative.
Obviously, I'm talking about it because it's a narrative. Every video that talks about shit like this is a narrative, obviously.
Since Tech omitted pretty much all of Katie's tweet longer, I say we explore some of the missing sections to gain a better understanding of the case at hand.
Dear ZeRo, my name is Katie. I used to be in the Smash community. I was 14 years old during our conversations on Skype from September 2014 to January 2015. We met online when you were streaming on Twitch, and I messaged you over chat. You seemed to take an interest in me and gave me your Skype username. I, starstruck, made a Skype just for this and began chatting with you. I'll note that I was decently educated when it came to internet safety, but it mainly regarded things like don't message a stranger and whatnot. But you weren't a stranger. You were ZeRo, a top player. You won the E3 Invitational in several tournaments before. Having any attention from...
Yes, Taylor, that's exactly what he did. So he relied on his reputation to get this one by. Yes.
Someone like you was mind-blowing to me. That's what made me an easy target. I was a young girl enraptured with the idea of being friends.
You know what? I'm going to slow this one down because I want y'all to actually hear this whole entire thing.
With someone I looked up to and admired. You used me in this state to flirt, manipulate, and ask for sexual favors from me. To remind you, this is what happened in our conversations. You called me kitty, kitten, honey, all mine.
She was 14, he was 19. She told him several times in those messages, at least, I know at the very least 2, I want to say 3 times, she told him she was 14. He was 19 years old. But John Swan goes through it. John Swan goes through it.
While flirting the entire time.
Tell me some more about you. Like, what do I not know about you?
Oh, I'm 14. I'm a girl. I'm smart, but I love Smash. Also, do you think that we could video chat one day? Sometime? Not now. You don't have to.
Yeah, sure we could.
Go, ZeRo, go! Imagine me with pom-poms and a cheerleader outfit or something.
Lamau.
He's talking to her while he's on Twitch. While he's streaming, he's talking to her.
Adorable.
Thanks. Wait, you, the legendary ZeRo, just called me adorable?
Yeah, you're an adorable cutie.
Thanks.
So adorable.
No, seriously, this is like a big deal for me. You're like one of my role models / favorite persons. I'm your official adorable cheerleader. Seriously, I'm blushing so hard right now.
Adorable cutie.
Oh, be quiet.
But you loving it. Can't lie to me.
Yeah, I am.
Lol. You are so adorable. OMG. Too much.
Stop.
Kitty cat Katie.
Seizure.
You're going crazy for me. You just love it. You're loving it, girl. So loving.
You manipulated me. For example, you called me a pervert and made...
Oh, you think that was bad? Gets worse. You think that was bad? Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse.
me believe it when in reality I was being goaded to say things by you.
Kate, you a perv though. It's okay. You growing up. It's gonna happen. You are still a baby.
You also told me I was your...
He even said, you are still a baby. Remember that line when we get a little bit further.
secret, and so I couldn't tell anyone about our conversations.
Do your viewers know why you're probably falling off your seat right now?
No, you're my secret.
What? I'm your secret? Defuzz does that mean?
I'm your secret? You're my secret. I guess so. She's fucking 14 years old.
Such a cutie. Mad adorable girl. Yeah, no one knows what we're doing.
Wait, what? I'm your adorable girl. That's really creepy, but also really cute. I mean, what?
You call it creepy, but you love it. You're like, I hate you, but love this and this.
No.
Yes?
I will never admit it.
You're loving it. Predictable. I just know it.
I won't admit it, ever.
Yes.
Never. ZeRo, please.
The worst offense I can remember is that you asked me to masturbate with ice and take pictures.
Oh, please.
The worst offense I can remember is that you asked me to masturbate with ice and take pictures.
And let me tell you something, and she's going to get into it. Everything else on her TwitLonger, she has the receipts for, except for that part. But after seeing what he said, I didn't even need to know about the fucking ice cubes. Because we're not done. Or excuse me, John Swan. Actually, it's Dr. Skipper and someone else. But they're not done reading those DMs. I didn't even have to know about the ice cubes to know that this fucking 19-year-old was messaging a 14-year-old the way he was messaging her. I don't even need to know about the masturbation and the ice cubes. So to me, this is legit. And it gets worse. It gets worse in the way they cover it up.
I lied when I told you I masturbated as you asked, and then I declined sending you pictures. The worst part of all of this is that I did not take screenshots of this particular situation since I was so embarrassed by it. You wanted to make this activity a habit, that every 2 weeks I would do what you say for a day.
I promise I'll be normal. If every 2 weeks we could do something like that, or in that day, I could go all in.
It would be awesome if we can do that every 2 weeks so I can go all in. It's kind of lining up with her TwitLonger, isn't it? It's kind of lining up from what she's saying on her TwitLonger and these fucking DMs. Lining up, right?
Swear on the river Styx?
Jason, I promise you, as long as you promise me that those days you are all mine.
Fine.
Here's why I never came out about this. I blamed myself. I admit that I was extremely enthusiastic in our conversations because I was just enamored with the fact that I was talking with the top player. I idolized you, and you used that to your advantage.
But don't take it as, oh my god, ZeRo's so hot. No. Not that kind of love. Well, maybe a little. I mean, what? But I love you like I want to be like you. I mean, I'll be your little cute, adorable kitty that's also your personal cheerleader when you need it. I'd probably do anything for you. Not bad for a 14-year-old girl, huh?
Oh, wow. I'm surprised. I had no idea you felt so strong about me. I'm honored. You're adorable and very nice. We could definitely talk more and stuff.
Okay, I want to say something right here. Before we go any further. The one argument you'll hear about technicals, that technicals will put out, I never said he should go back to tournaments. He didn't meet this girl from a fucking tournament. She was a fan of his and watched his Twitch channel. She was a self-admittedly, twice now that we have seen, 14-year-old fan of his. She didn't meet him through a fucking tournament. She met him through his fucking Twitch. Now, he's banned off of Twitch, but guess where he's at now? Now he's at YouTube again. He just uploaded after that shit happened in 2020 where it came out. He's back because, hashtag welcome back ZeRo. You don't think there's no kids in that fucking fan base? He's playing a kid's fucking game. So you know what? Welcome back, ZeRo, my ass.
I'd like to know you some more.
But because I was so naive, I considered myself responsible for years and thought that my experience would be invalid because of my actions. I didn't take screenshots of the worst situations. The screenshots I have were actually when I was so starstruck that what I thought was happening to me was special, so I kept them for posterity. Only later did I realize that the messages you sent weren't good for me at all.
I love how you react so funny to
Artsy, we're going through what he did right now, okay? All you have to do is watch. We're going through it right now.
things. Mad adorable. It's like when you rub a cat's belly and then they just roll around.
You will not rub my belly.
Yeah, why only do that?
Why only do that? What does that implicate to you? What does that fucking implicate to you? Why only do that? You will not rub my belly. Yeah, why only do that? Does he want to play fucking checkers? Are you serious? Does he want to play fucking checkers? I guarantee you he doesn't. Does he want to help her with her homework? No. Why only do that? I didn't need to see the rest after that. I didn't need to see the rest after that. And I cannot understand for the fucking life of me how anyone can be okay with this. Why only do that? That's damning enough for me. That's damning enough for me. This line right here, these two parts right here, you will not rub my belly. Yeah, why only do that? That was enough. Case closed for my ass. There is no welcome back, ZeRo. Period.
Despite the wave of stories that have been told lately, I believe I will still receive immense backlash. She wants attention. She just doesn't like him. But trust me, I wish this never happened. And I wouldn't wish this amount of mental stress on anyone as well. These months of my life have haunted me for years. Ever since we stopped talking, it's been in the back of my mind. Whenever I saw a video of you, or saw you talking to other top players I admired, or saw a fan talk about how great of a person you were, I would feel sick to my stomach. And this feeling has been growing even stronger these past few days, telling me that I have to say something, that I have to speak up to end this conflict. All I want now is closure, a genuine apology. I was a kid back then. I was stupid. But you are an adult, and you should have taken responsibility and said no. You never should have encouraged any of it.
What grade are you in?
9th, so I'm a freshman.
OMG, you're a baby hand. Haha, adorable. Smash skills don't matter, kitty. You'll grow out of it eventually.
Calling her kitty. Calling her my secret. Why not do more than just rubbing your belly like you do kittens? Are you fucking serious?
I'm now an adult, as old as you were when we first talked, and I could not imagine ever talking to a minor the way you talked to me. You knew what we were doing.
Or try to spin it in such a way that the entire community is gaslit into being okay with it. That's just, oh, fuck yeah, it's just a shitty. Because listen, this right here is what ZeRo did, okay? This right here is the part that Technicals did not include in his fucking video, okay? Then we're gonna go into how Technicals dealt with that and how ZeRo has been dealing with that. And it makes it even fucking worse.
Doing was unacceptable, and you should have stopped it way earlier than we did. I realize that you have the power to reject everything I accuse you of that I don't have evidence for. I understand that this was 5 years ago and that you have very likely matured and changed since it happened, but I want you to realize the effect you've had on me. I've grown as a person too, but I've had this burden on my heart for years, and I want to let it go. I will very likely never return to the Smash community, in part because of what happened.
Exactly, hold on, where are you at? I think it was Dr. Cross that said it. Was it Dr. Cross that said it? Who said the Mini Lad 2.0 thing? Whoever said the Mini Lad... No, Archie said it. Bruh, literally Mini Lad 2.0. Yeah. And his ass is back. Fuck him too.
Happened between us, but I want to close the book on this situation for good. Signed, Katie.
If we assume that all of what Katie says is true, this is disgusting. Remember, ZeRo is 19, and he is aware that the girl he is engaging with is 14. I think the word grooming has somewhat lost its meaning over the past year or two due to the label being attributed to
Oh, no, you asshole.
cases that don't really justify it. But let's make this very, very clear. This is textbook grooming, and it's repulsive. In fact, I'm pretty comfortable saying that based on this, ZeRo should not be allowed back in any online setting where you would have the ability to interact with minors on a daily basis. This is pretty standard in nearly every other profession that involves
Dark Magician. Wait, why did ZeRo have that avatar? He's into anime.
children. If you're a teacher and you get caught grooming a student, you are removed from your position and not allowed to work as a teacher going forward. The same goes if you're a counselor, coach, or tutor. From just looking at the screenshots Katie provides, myself, the level of precision and research that would have been needed in order to make these would have been next level. But thankfully, we don't have to do forensics on the screenshots to judge the validity of the allegations, because ZeRo actually confessed, and he went one step further and confessed to stuff we didn't have screenshots for.
Hey, I can't sleep, and I just can't take this back and forth. I don't think it makes sense to keep this going. I just want this all to stop and for me to at least atone. I also want people to stop defending me. I don't deserve it. Katie, the screenshot you guys were wondering about the ice cube thing? It's true. The claims that Katie makes are true in general. There are no graphic pictures or anything of the sort, but it's unforgivable regardless.
Now, this right here, his confession, this is the one that comes from Technical's video. It's not the whole thing, because he was talking about the Katie part and he only wanted to put the Katie part in. The excuse that you're going to hear about this I have to come clean, it was his suicide letter. That's the excuse you're going to hear. That it was his suicide letter. And thank God his wife cooked a good meal.
Okay, pack it up, guys. Case closed. We have a confession. This was probably the stance of most people prior to Technical's video. If you have a confession to inappropriate conversation with minors, that's game over for you in the online space. But what Technicals does next is completely out of left field. In fact, the first time I watched it, I admittedly couldn't contain my laughter. Just roll the clip.
The first time I watched it, I had a fucking fit, because how come you say that this is still an open case? You don't go deeply into it, and John Swan's getting ready to explain it. And you glaze over it, but you sure did give ZeRo a bunch of fucking excuses. Oh, you gave him a bunch of excuses.
If you're an observant reader, you may have noticed the stark contrast of tone from his previous responses. That's because ZeRo wholeheartedly intended for this to be his suicide note. And had it not been for Vanessa, that may have well been the case.
Vanessa being ZeRo's wife.
If it's not too personal, what stopped you from committing suicide?
Technical spends the next 3 minutes interviewing ZeRo and Vanessa, recounting details about ZeRo's graphic suicide story.
In the middle of the Katie story. He started the Katie story, and then he went into this, and then he went back. That's that shit that's in that really pretty box with that really pretty bow. That's part of the shit. All right, so that's like a piece of shit in the pretty box with the pretty bow. But don't worry, there's more pieces of shit going to be put in that box. The box is going to be stuffed with shit.
This entire section completely took me by surprise, and I can see it served no other purpose than to emotionally manipulate the audience to feel bad for ZeRo. We've just spent the last 2.5 minutes going over claims that he asked a 14-year-old girl for nudes when he was 19.
2.5 minutes.
And then we spend an entire 3 minutes where he has the opportunity to speak about his darkest moment. The manipulation becomes even more blatant when after 3 minutes of pulling at your heartstrings with this part of the story, Technicals just jumps right back into the allegations. Here he glosses over the messages and broadly calls them
100% unacceptable,
and then delves into the legal argument that no one with any notable platform
He doesn't read them, but they're 100% unacceptable. But let me tell you how he tried to kill himself.
Has ever made, at least not to my knowledge. I can only assume this because the tweets he shows to transition into this section have no likes and 3 likes, respectively. If any big names were making these arguments, or if this was even the consensus in general, don't you think he would have pulled some more popular tweets? I don't buy it. Everyone is aware that the police are notoriously terrible at prosecuting online crimes, especially when there isn't explicit material involved.
Right.
Technicals knows this too. By debunking an argument that no one was making...
We all know that. We all know that.
In the first place, Tech is priming the audience to accept his version of the story. It's all about building a narrative.
No, RT, he was not married. He is married now. This was like 2017. It was like 5 years ago. It's just being brought up. It got brought back up again. It got brought back up in 2020 and brought back up again because of this fucking video.
Obviously, I'm talking about it because it's a narrative. Every video that talks about shit like this is a narrative, obviously.
And that becomes even more apparent in the next section of the video.
Now, the million-dollar question is ZeRo a pedophile? Now, I know that this is a very emotionally charged subject, and some of you have probably already made up your minds. But when it comes to a label that would suggest past, present, future, and potential harm of children, I think it's important to make sure that the shoe fits nice and snug.
This definition is so specific and has such a high bar that it cannot be reasonably applied to most people that society would be pretty comfortable with calling pedophiles. You have to remember that most pedophiles never offend, and that pedophilia is simply defined as sexual feelings directed towards children. Twitter pedophiles have even coined a phrase for this, NOMAP, which stands for non-offending minor attracted person. You would probably call these people pedophiles, and you would be completely justified in doing so. But under Technical's definition, they wouldn't qualify because they themselves have stated that they will not and have not harmed or abused children. When you arbitrarily raise the bar for definitions like this, it starts to have unintended side effects. For example, should a YouTuber with a child fanbase that has admitted to being a non-offending pedophile be allowed to create content for children? Absolutely not. And the same goes for any other profession that involves children. But Tech's definition allows these people to weasel out on a technicality, and it becomes even more confusing as the video progresses.
For instance, let's take someone who more than likely could be categorized as a pedophile, EDP445. EDP had messaged multiple underage girls, and despite almost getting caught one time, still ends up in a sting operation with a 13-year-old. People who are pedophiles like children. Repeat offenders
Oh, yeah, and that's another one of his defenses. It only happened one time. Technicals runs around and says, it only happened one time. That you know of. How do you know it hasn't happened another time? But he's not a pedophile. It only happened one time, and there was no images. It didn't happen.
literally cannot help themselves. It's classified in the DSM-5 as a paraphilic disorder, which means that they have persistent sexual urges or fantasies about children and act on them, or it causes them extreme distress or difficulty in their interpersonal relationships.
In this part of the video, Technicals completely misrepresents the DSM-5. I can't tell if this is due to pure ignorance or him trying to build a narrative, but I'll let you decide. In response to the question of, is ZeRo a pedophile, he references pedophilic disorder and reads out the qualifiers. But the only problem with this is that pedophilia and pedophilic disorder are two very different things. In fact, the DSM-5 actually makes the distinction in 6 different places. In the new DSM-5, pedophilia is depathologized by differentiating between the sexual preference for prepubescent children and the disorder in case of additional factors. These factors include experiencing significant distress and impairment by fantasies and urges, or the acting out on behavioral level, including CP consumption and or committing hands-on child sexual abuse offenses. Clinically, this is an important distinction, because a high percentage of pedophiles do not act on their sexual urges, and 40 to 50% of sex offenders that have engaged in sexual contact with children have equal or higher sexual arousal with adults.
So basically, he just destroyed Technicals with what Technicals put in his video, with this part.
But of course, Technicals either admitted this information, or he just didn't read it. And you should probably do that if you're trying to make the argument that ZeRo is not a pedophile.
Right, your goal is to prove that ZeRo is not a pedophile.
Okay, so this is the first Augie live stream, what you're about to hear, and Technicals went up there because he was getting pissed on how they were going over the Katie part because they had a problem with the Katie part. And you're about to hear Diorio and Technicals get into it, and it was something.
Pedophile, right?
Yes.
Pedophilic disorder has a much higher bar, and thus the qualifiers that he reads out cannot reasonably be applied to ZeRo. There is no clinically accepted definition for pedophilia, it just doesn't exist, so let's remove the DSM-5 for a minute and focus on the definition that is generally agreed upon. Sexual feelings directed towards children. Under this definition, would ZeRo be considered a pedophile? Just to remind you, when he was 19, ZeRo groomed a 14-year-old girl for months and pressured her to send him pictures of her performing sex acts. So, let me
3 months to be exact. 3 months. He was messaging her. 3 months.
repeat myself. Is ZeRo a pedophile? I'm gonna let you come to the decision on your own, but needless to say, Technical's complete misrepresentation of the DSM-5 is totally irresponsible and clinically incorrect. It plants seeds in the audience's mind that ZeRo cannot possibly be a pedophile because he doesn't fit the extremely strict qualifiers, when that definition is talking about something completely different.
I want to take the reins here for a second and just ask.
Yeah, go ahead.
A simple.
All right, so that's Turkey Com, and he jumped into that same live stream, and he's getting ready to ask a very important question, I think.
Well, a simple question of each person in this chat. I'm 19 years old, right now. I turned 19 in August, so I'm 19 now. I'm the same age that ZeRo was when this shit happened, okay? If I was caught talking to a 14-year-old girl, asking her to shove ice up her pussy and send me pictures of it, regardless if the girl did it, how would each person in this call feel about that? Augie, how would you feel about that?
You would be a sick fuck, and I would never talk to you again, and I would make that abundantly clear in my public platforms.
Boblax, how would you feel about that?
I'd be confused, mind-fucked, angry.
Would you be willing to talk to me again? Would you be willing to have me back in the community in any way? Would you associate with me in any way?
Probably not.
Edwin?
No, dude, that's gonna be a hard no. I mean, oh, Jesus, no, dude.
Snipster, what do you think?
Oh, God.
I would think that you're a massive fucking degenerate, and I would have no problem burning that.
But is it just degenerate? Is there another word you maybe want to use? If a 19-year-old tries to...
You're a pedophile. You're a fucking
images?
pedo.
Okay,
You're a fucking pedo. You're attracted to children. You want children.
So chat, consider that, okay? Consider that. If I, at the current age I am now, talk to a girl, I would be derided, okay? I would be shat on beyond belief, and I would deserve it. I would deserve it, because the idea of me as a 19-year-old talking to a 14-year-old is fucking repulsive. What the fuck do you have in common with a 14-year-old, ZeRo? Tell me. Tell me what you have in common with that 14-year-old.
The next part of Technical's video serves two purposes. To further build his case why he believes ZeRo is not a pedophile, and to debunk this hyperbolic and stupid tweet made by Leffen. I could think of several ways to cover this tweet, but the angle that Technicals chooses honestly shocked me.
Oh my God. The amount of people that were okay with this video was astonishing. I'm telling you, the amount of people. So this is how we're also going to defend ZeRo, okay? What you're about to hear is also how we're going to defend ZeRo.
Even after gaining significantly more money and more access to minors, there's been no new cases. Before he was canceled, he even ran an entire team of children. This would be the perfect case study if I've ever seen one. So I reached out to some of Team ZeRo to see what they had to say on the matter.
It's my understanding that you guys had like a group chat too. Did you ever get any weird vibes from ZeRo? Did he ever ask you guys to do something you probably weren't comfortable with?
Technicals interviews two of the kids that ZeRo worked with, where they told him that they got no weird vibes from him. I mean, why would they? The relationship was purely business, as Tech himself states.
But no, he's done absolutely nothing weird in the group chat. Like, he's only spoken a few times, and when he would, it was just for getting us to film a video with him.
Oh, okay, so it's more like purely business.
Yeah.
I fail to see how interviewing two boys in a business chat that ZeRo was a part of.
Two boys. Maybe he didn't... Maybe he doesn't like males. He likes females. He likes women. It was a 14-year-old girl he was talking to in those DMs. Not a boy. It wasn't a 14-year-old boy. It was a 14-year-old girl.
Adds literally anything to Tech's point. And from what we know, guys aren't even his gender or preference.
Right, your goal is to prove that ZeRo is not a pedophile, right?
Yes.
How can you prove that ZeRo is not a pedophile by interviewing people who've been around him and go where they go, well, he never was weird around me. How does that prove he's not a pedophile? That just proves he didn't molest them.
This is just saying that he's not manipulating the children of the community. because I directly show a quote from Leffen saying that if he wasn't removed, he would still be manipulating children in the community.
I don't want to be a dick, but it's like, oh, you're not a pedophile? Okay, dude. Name every child in the community. Oh, we'll interview every single one of them.
Oh my fucking god.
I'm
dude.
just saying this doesn't
really,
add
honestly don't
anything
get
to
what your point is.
Because, all right, so your overall goal is to prove that ZeRo is not a pedophile.
Yes.
Right. How can you accomplish that further by randomly interviewing people who have been like around him?
He literally brought these kids into like the mainstream. He brought them out of fucking being just an average player to top players.
Dr. Cross says, seem kind of homophobic to insinuate that he's not a pedo because he ain't into boys. I think what Technicals was trying to slide by, that being that he worked with these kids and they were also kids, and that he didn't try to manipulate them. You know, it's like, but I don't think ZeRo has ever said that he liked men and he liked males. It was a girl. It was a 14-year-old girl that he asked that every 2 weeks so, you know, he can go full on. And she was his secret. And why not more besides rubbing her belly? Exactly. Pedos aren't, you're exactly right, Dr. Cross. Pedos aren't always bisexual or homosexual, mostly not. There you go.
So if the assumption is that ZeRo likes kids, ZeRo manipulates children, he takes advantage of them, why isn't he taking advantage of any of the children he was fucking directly working with?
But does that mean he's not a pedophile and manipulating
Which
other
he
kids?
obviously showed an interest in because he specifically said, I like them, I'm going to sponsor them to support them so they can grow in the community.
Exactly, Tetra. Pedos have preferences too, so they like either little girls or little boys. Exactly. Not my fault, Artsy. Sorry. King Quinn, what Dr. Cross is trying to say and what I was saying, Technicals used the example of two boys that he talked to prove that ZeRo is not a pedo. But the question is, he didn't talk to any girls. The girl that he was talking to was 14 years old.
I'm losing brain cells by just watching this. It's completely irrelevant, Technicals. Hold on though, this next bit of text video, it's just outrageous.
Yes, cringy it is.
Let me get this straight. He had the Disneyland equivalent of a pedophile's paradise and didn't ride Space Mountain once. Damn, ZeRo's really dropping the ball here.
That was so inappropriate. That was such a fucking inappropriate joke to make in the middle of you talking about this situation.
And didn't ride Space Mountain once. Damn, ZeRo's really dropping the ball here.
So what? His whole team was full of dudes. That only proves he isn't a gay smash pedophile, Technicals. Who cares?
To which
Inappropriate.
I'd respond, I guess that means you can cross off 90% of his options. You'd think he'd divert.
Because only 10% of the girls, only 10% are girls or women that play Smash, that you know, professionally. Fucking inappropriate. That tells you how serious he's really not taking that KD case. Absolutely 100% inappropriate.
Diversify his profile a little bit.
So, instead of responding to a very legitimate point about sexual preference, Tech responds facetiously, saying that essentially there aren't that many girls for him to groom, so he should be fine. And that he doesn't understand why ZeRo wouldn't just groom some boys as well if he really was the vicious pedophile that he's claimed to be. Look, I get it, it's a joke. But I would expect that after this joke we actually would get a legitimate response to this very fair question. But we just don't. He moves right on to the next point. You heard the argument he had with Nick. He doesn't really have an answer to this question, which is why he deflected with jokes, hoping nobody would notice.
Let's just recap. It would be impossible for ZeRo to go to jail over this. He never exchanged any images. Every other story involves an adult, and he hasn't had a slip-up in 7 years.
A fucking slip-up? A fucking He hasn't had a slip-up in 7 years, okay? So are you telling me him talking to that 14-year-old girl that she explicitly, because he even asked what grade she was in, she explicitly told him at the very least twice that she was 14 was a fucking slip-up? It was a slip-up, guys! Oopsie! That's a fucking slip-up! Oopsie is a fucking slip-up! Not telling a 14-year-old girl why not do more after making a comment about rubbing her fucking belly! Not telling a 14-year-old girl you're my secret! Calling her kitty, kitten, and I love you! That's not a fucking slip-up! That's not a oopsie! Yeah, whoops! I slipped into her DMs. Exactly, Sleepy. Whoops! I slipped right in her DMs. My bad. My bad. It was a slip-up. Are you serious? Are you serious? It was a fucking slip-up? Oops, I slipped up and told this girl I hope we can do that every 2 weeks so I can go all in. Whoops. Whoops. My bad. I slipped up. I mean... yeah, so he whoops for months. Exactly, Tetra.
Yeah, dude, he just kind of tripped and fell and grew to minor for like 3 months and asked her to shove ice up her pussy. Not my idea of...
Okay, I have to admit, it's kind of weird for me to hear John Swan use the P word. I'm not gonna lie. For him, it just sounds really weird coming out of his mouth. But anyway, side note. But yeah, he just, he tripped and fell into the DMs. He tripped and fell and said all the bullshit that he said for 3 fucking months. Whoops.
What a slip-up is. And what exactly is he slipping up from? Slipping up from being attracted to minors? This explanation just makes no sense, man. And saying that no images were exchanged is just poisoning the well. He asked for them. It doesn't matter if the girl sent them or not. The intent was still there. Now, to Tech's credit here, he does clearly disavow the conversations in the following section.
Do I condone the conversations that took place? No, and I hope I've made that very clear.
You didn't. You didn't, because you made excuses for him. The man was having a mental breakdown. The man, the man was going to kill himself. He had a bad childhood. That's another excuse that comes up. He had a bad childhood. And it was a slip up. Let me tell you something. If you do not condone or you condemn something, but yet you give excuses for it, put a 1 in the chat. All right, you know what? We're going to take a poll because you know what? I love my chat. And I know the people who watch me are highly intelligent. So I'm going to ask y'all a question. Put a 1 in the chat if you believe that if you just say you don't condone it and you condemn it, but give excuses, it's still a condemn. You're still condemning it. Put a 2 that you're really not condemning it, even though you say the words that you are condemning it, but yet you give excuses. 1 in the chat that it's really a condemnation, and 2 in the chat it's not. Oh yeah, Mary, that's right. The other excuse was he grew up in Chile. See, that's why I love my chat, because my chat is intelligent. Thank you.
But come on, let's not beat around the bush here. He did not make this clear. Like, at all.
What I'm trying to say is that I don't believe this to be the result of a specific or malicious preference, as is the case with repeat offenders such as pedophiles and Discord mods. What I think we're looking at is a culmination of a fucked up childhood and trauma, resulting in emotional immaturity and a lack of genuine and fulfilling relationships. When ZeRo first publicly shared a story of how he grew up in Chile, we discovered how his father exposed him to sex at the age of 5, and brutally beat him and his mother.
And here we go again with the emotional blackmail. It's insane to me that no one else has called this out. Oh yeah, he might have asked a 14-year-old girl to stick ice up her pussy, but did you know he tried to kill himself? He may have groomed her for months, but did you know how messed up his childhood was? Like, it's just so blatant. Tech doesn't even try to hide it.
I'm not just saying this so you'll pity him.
When you literally just listed all the reasons why you should pity him. This is so bad faith. It's insane.
I'm just saying his circumstances were pretty fucked, and it's not unreasonable to assume that a traumatized, depressed shut-in would have a lack of meaningful and genuine relationship experience.
Well, he knew enough to keep her little secret and doing more than rubbing her belly. I mean, he knew enough about that, though, didn't he? He knew enough about calling her kitten and I love you and you're so cute and I want to do this every 2 weeks so I can go on all in. He knew to say that shit. Exactly, Alexandra. Not all people... Alexandra, excuse me. Not all people with bad childhoods become predators. You are 100% correct on that. Yes. Skip says Chile disavows. I know that's right. I saw some people having a fit. Yes, Sleepy. Tell them. Damn right.
I wonder how the audience would react if this was said about someone like EDP. Imagine if he went out with a statement that said, guys, my father beat me and I was bullied in school. I haven't had a genuine relationship, so that's why I messaged the 13-year-old for nudes and tried to meet up with her.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I would tell him I wouldn't give a fuck. I wouldn't care. There's plenty of people who get abused in their childhood. There's plenty of people who deal with a lot of shitty shit in their life. And yes, they have to cope with it and possibly and hopefully get help for that. But that doesn't mean they go around hurting kids or hurting even other people. There's plenty of people out there with a lot of hurt and pain from their childhood that they are normal human beings who do not talk to 14-year-olds that way. And they do not hurt other people. And they're out there living their best life that they can. So that is not a fucking excuse.
He'd be laughed at, ridiculed, and told there's no excuse. And rightfully so. None of this excuses ZeRo's behavior. I think I just want to quickly talk about something that has been made abundantly clear to me over the course of Technical's video so far. It's pretty apparent that Tech is making excuses for ZeRo throughout, and very little attention has been spent on the actual allegations themselves. Just to remind you, Katie was groomed for months by a person she looked up to when she was just 14 years old. ZeRo took advantage of her for his own twisted gratification and caused her severe mental distress in the process. The twit longer that we read at the beginning of the video makes me sick to my stomach, and I can't imagine the strength this poor girl had to go through to come out about this abuse of power. Why are we making excuses for this? Why are we trying to minimize it? What ZeRo did is repulsive, plain and simple. But I guess here we are. Sorry for that tangent there, but it just makes you really upset, you know? Like I shouldn't even have to say this right now. The internet's gone completely crazy. Okay, let's get back to the video. The next section is pretty uneventful. Tech interviews some of ZeRo's friends and ZeRo himself to try and give some context as to why he's socially awkward and shouldn't be held to the same standard as the rest of us. Yada, yada, yada. This goes on for 4 minutes. You can watch it yourself. I'm not going to go over it. It's completely irrelevant.
When you look at ZeRo's development over the years, even as recent as his marriage to Vanessa, you'd be hard-pressed to establish any kind of significant behavioral trend, considering how the single instance in 2014 is the only existing point of contention. Now, if that's enough for you to still be against ZeRo and think that he's an irredeemable person, I kind of understand where you're coming from, but if what Leffen and Jisoo said is true, you wouldn't need to lie this much to prove it.
And that's right there, what Leffen and Jisoo said. That was the reason for this fucking video. That was the reason for this fucking video. See, in his Sky Williams video, it seems like to me, and this is my theory, John kind of goes into it. My theory is that Technicals is going after the very people who fucked over Sky Williams. Oh, FYI, ZeRo just dropped his lawsuit against Jisoo for, I think, defamation or something like that. He just dropped his lawsuit, like literally, it was like the day after, like this video came out, is when the lawsuit dropped against Jisoo. ZeRo going against Jisoo. 1 + 1 = 2, people. I was born at night, but not last night. So, just saying.
A pedophile will usually do that themselves.
I'm honestly a bit confused on what he's saying here, because I think there's more than enough to establish guilt while being completely truthful. Is this directed at me? Am I missing something here? Whatever, let's move on.
This may be a little personal, but I like ZeRo, and if he decides to continue making content, I can't think of a single reason not to. If you just thought to yourself, wow, that's a pretty risky and controversial opinion, Technicals, then I'd argue that this opinion is 1,000 times less controversial than what a majority of the Smash community already openly accepts.
Oh, no, he's not going to do what I think he is, right?
Yes, he is. He is absolutely going to do what you think he's going to do.
Right. Tech spends the next 6 minutes discussing Nairo. And to be fair to him, the section is honestly pretty good. This is what he's best at, dissecting responses critically, something that I wish he'd done in his section on Katie. However, this section also serves another purpose, and that is to make ZeRo's case more palatable.
Yeah, because he wasn't as bad as Nairo, though, right? So he should be welcomed back because he's not as bad as the other guy. He's not as bad as her. So yeah, we're going to talk about it.
Because the Smash community welcomed Nairo back without much reservation, due to a legal document that apparently exists that no one has ever seen, he implies that ZeRo should also return. Because what he did was apparently not as bad. Because as Technical says,
at least I know for sure what ZeRo did and didn't do.
Are you? Are you for sure, you motherfucker? Are you sure? Are you sure, Technicals? Because if you are sure, then you sure did show a poor showing of it.
Can't say the same for Nairo.
Finally, we're nearly at the end.
When I first took on this case, I'll be honest, I had quite the few reservations about ZeRo. Some of you might even remember me saying things like, I can't do anything, I'm not a fucking miracle worker. But after thoroughly reviewing the case files, the motivations, the state bylaws, the contradictions, and the traffic violations, I came to where I am now. ZeRo's conversations with Katie were 100% irresponsible and wrong in my opinion.
Okay, I'm sorry, I live for the petty. Y'all know I do.
The motivations, the state bylaws, the contradictions, and the traffic violations, I came to where I am now. ZeRo's conversations with Katie were 100% irresponsible and wrong.
John Swan puts up in the top, just irresponsible and wrong? LMAO, okay. Yeah, it's just irresponsible and wrong. Remember, you're my secret. I can't wait to do that every 2 weeks, or something about every 2 weeks so I can go all in. You will not rub my belly. Well, why not do more? I love you. You're cutie. You're a baby fist. But it was just irresponsible and wrong.
In my opinion. The issue for me is that this isn't something that was caught in the moment. This happened once 7 years ago when he was 19 and then never happened again. The only inference I can reasonably pull from that is that he either realized it was wrong and stopped it himself, or his mental maturity finally caught up with him after years of trauma and a lack of proper education.
I really don't like the way Tech is framing this. By saying that this only happened once, he's negating that the grooming of Katie actually took place over the course of 3 months. If ZeRo messaged her for like a week and stopped, maybe I would believe this a bit more, but he was living and functioning in society as a pro Smash player, and his actions have no excuse.
Period. Oh, but there's more. There's more, people. Oh no. See, this technical shit goes deeper.
Don't mess me with this, whose mental maturity finally caught up with him. Bullshit. I don't buy it. Okay, so why did he stop? Well, there could be so many reasons why. He could have been caught by a friend or family member. Maybe he let it slip out during a conversation. Or maybe he got...
Skip. I only murdered a man once. It's fine. Heart face. I mean, right? So it's fine that only one child was harmed? Thank you, all that jazz. I mean, exactly. I mean, it was only one. It was only one. And no pictures were exchanged. And I know for a fact what he's done. Did you read those fucking messages that you put in your video, Technicals? Did you even stop to read them, or did you just put them in the fucking video? And you didn't even put all of them in the video. And all of them back up what she said in her goddamn twit longer. Her twit longer was 6 years after the fact. 1 + 1 = 2. This is why I tell you people, don't fall from them for those pretty fucking videos with the pretty bow on top, because sometimes it's filled with shit.
Got struck by paranoia from seeing something online. Just because we don't know of this happening again doesn't mean it hasn't. And it doesn't mean that ZeRo should be allowed to post content for children again. I'm personally not comfortable with that at all.
I can't for the life of me point to anything that would correlate him being a current danger to children, like Leffen would suggest. ZeRo never exchanged images with Katie, which is his worst perceived crime to this day.
He asked for them, doesn't matter if he didn't receive any, the intent was still there. How many times do I have to go over this?
Dude, people have been fighting about it for weeks, so.
Nairo had undeniable sexual activity with a 15-year-old and has still not provided his full defense for his innocence. His attorney says that he could ultimately exonerate him, so why hasn't he? He made it sound really easy. If Nairo feels like his audience isn't owed a detailed explanation, then according to the severity of the allegations, he isn't owed a platform either.
So, my question is, where do we draw the line? If Nairo isn't owned a platform because of the severity of the allegations against him, why should ZeRo be owned one? Sure, sexual contact with a minor is certainly worse than what ZeRo did. I'm not denying that. But they're both bad, right? If you ask for images but don't receive them, does that make it automatically fine for you to continue making content? The moment you start drawing these arbitrary boundaries, what is and what isn't acceptable starts to become murky. The solution? Both of them should be shunned from the community. Let's stay consistent.
I'm not asking for justice. I'm not even gonna ask you for an apology. You don't have to say anything. So I'll just say the only thing that's left to say. Welcome back, ZeRo.
I was so fucking infuriated with the ending of his video. I was so infuriated when I saw that.
Why are we welcoming this guy back? Why is everyone okay with defending this dude all of a sudden? Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what to think. If you want to...
I'm telling you, y'all should have seen me and Skip in the DMs about this damn video. We were having like all types of fits. We were having all types of fits, let me tell you.
Support ZeRo in his return, that's fine, go for it. But
but wait, there's more. We got 3 more sections, guys. He's almost finished with this section.
Surely I can't be the only one that thinks this is insane. This dude's clearly depraved. You've seen the messages. This isn't the sort of person we should be welcoming back. In fact, I don't believe he should be allowed to create content for children again. This sort of stuff is like a one-strike policy for me. Imagine this applied to anyone else. No, you see that teacher that asked a minor for nudes? He only did that one time, so he should be allowed to continue teaching at a school.
Yeah, fuck that. I don't want that motherfucker teaching anywhere anymore.
Just doesn't make sense, does it? It's insane to me that people are defending this guy. Tech, like, come on, man. Why did you get involved in this? Actually, come to think of it, some of you could probably ask me the same question. What's my stake in all this? Why did I spend $20 on these shitty suspenders for this bit? No offense to these people, but I don't think I have anything to gain from trying to win over people from the commentary community again. Those who hate me won't stop from this video, or any video really. Honestly, if I wanted to be in the good graces of anyone right now, it would be Technicals and his crowd. If I was interested in numbers, I'd just join them.
And that's very true. Because this whole time that they had been fighting on Twitter, Technicals was ratioing everybody. Because he actually has more of a following and more supporters than what any of the commentary people have. They were getting ratioed left and right. They were literally fighting an uphill battle this whole time they were fighting. I sat there and watched it all. I mean, my God, the argument between Willie Mack and Technicals made me want to throw my computer out the fucking window. Just watching it. Because Technicals was running in circles. He argues in circles. Circles, circles, circles. Run around, run around, run around. That's how he argues. He'll never directly answer a question. Well, sometimes.
He's ratioing commentary creators constantly. He's winning the game of Twitter likes by like a whole margin. So why am I doing this? Well, simply, I believe Tech is in the wrong. His video clearly makes excuses for ZeRo, there's no question about it. And he's let his hatred for certain people in the Smash scene take over his common sense and reasoning. Someone needs to come in here and set the record straight. And I decided that that person's gonna be me. I would love to end on that dramatic note, but unfortunately we still have a little to go. I think it's important that we discuss ZeRo's response when he returned. I wanted to put it earlier on in the video, but I couldn't find a place to weave it in nicely, so it's going in here. ZeRo starts off his video by promoting Technicals' work and discussing the document created by Jisoo.
To start off, you probably heard of all of this from a document made by Jisoo, which was then later spread.
Oh, there goes Jisoo again. Remember, he just dropped a lawsuit against Jisoo. This guy right here, ZeRo. This guy ZeRo right here just dropped a lawsuit against Jisoo. Jisoo also did Sky Williams wrong. 1 + 1 = 2, people.
Read by multiple media outlets. This document contains a very large amount of lies, falsehoods, big exaggerations, and honestly, it is nothing more than a piece to assassinate my character and ruin my image to the general public. There is a lot to go over, but the easiest and best way to learn the truth is to watch these 2 videos made by Technicals, with one of them actually being released today. Technicals did extensive research for half a year to really dig the truth, interviewed many people, gathered so much evidence, and honestly, he put 2 pieces together that could explain what really happened better than I could with my own words.
But the most contentious part comes around 2 minutes in when he gets to his confession that I mentioned earlier.
You have also probably heard of a so-called confession from my part.
A so-called confession. So-called.
Simply put, this document is nothing more than a suicide letter that I wrote during a tremendous mental breakdown. I had fully planned to take my life right after posting that document because I pretty much lost all faith in that scenario, seeing so many of my close friends deciding to take the situation, to throw me under the bus for personal gain, seeing how people were reacting in general, and me just feeling like I could not defend myself properly. Pretty much took the last bit of hope that I had left, and I decided not just to give up, but to sabotage myself on purpose.
What does that even mean?
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
It sounds to me like ZeRo is saying that in his darkest moment, he admitted to stuff that he never did to ensure his career would be completely over.
Yeah.
That could not be what it's supposed to mean, but it's so vague that realistically it could mean anything. I sabotage myself. Like, what? Apparently Technicals hasn't received a solid answer from ZeRo on this matter either, but it's...
Actually, ZeRo will not answer any questions about Katie. He will not answer yes or no. He will not answer. Because he's lawyered up. He's lawyered up. He will not answer.
It's up to you whether you want to believe him on that. If we progress on the assumption that ZeRo admitted to stuff he never did to ruin his career intentionally, there are a few things that just don't make sense. The first time we see the twit longer in Technical's video, he actually alters it to remove around 2/3 of it. The rest of the statement is actually pretty important, so let's have a read of the rest.
And John Swan breaks it down. He breaks it down and he makes a lot of fucking sense.
Hey, I can't sleep, and I just can't take this back and forth. I don't think it makes sense to keep this going. I just want this all to stop and for me to at least atone. I also want people to stop defending me. I don't deserve it. Katie, the screenshot you guys were wondering about that ice cube thing, it's true. The claims that Katie makes are true in general. There are no graphic pictures of anything of the sorts, but it's unforgivable regardless. I want to just be clear about it here. There's more than one girl I spoke to in the 2014 period a bit earlier. Her name is Laura. Originally, she never told me she was underage. She says she was older than me. I have screenshots of this, but it doesn't matter nor make it better. But years later, she contacted me and said she was actually underage. I apologized to her privately recently and told her I feel absolutely terrible about it. There's no graphic pictures or anything either that was exchanged, and she's from another country. I really want to atone, and I just want the discussion to stop.
I don't know if you caught that, but ZeRo actually defends himself in several portions in this twit longer. This doesn't sound to me like someone who's trying to intentionally sabotage themselves
Good night, Pigeon.
at all. I simply don't believe someone would be willing to self-destruct / admit to solicitation from a minor and then also defend himself in the next paragraph by explaining he was catfished by Laura, claiming he can prove it, disputing CP, claiming Laura was from another country. Why on earth would you admit to the ice cube thing and then contest other things within the same twit longer? This just makes no sense. Even in his confession about Katie, he clarifies that there were no pictures exchanged. I don't buy this excuse that he sabotaged himself. It sounds completely ridiculous. Imagine EDP used that same excuse and said that his confession on video was just him sabotaging himself. No one would take it seriously. Does ZeRo think we're all just gullible?
Now, I need to make this very clear to everybody watching this video. I have never received explicit images from any underage individual.
Okay, sounds like a bunch of lawyer talk to me, because here's what the lawyer would tell ZeRo. In Katie's twit longer, she said she didn't take a screenshot of him asking her that. She also said in her twit longer that she did not send the picture to him. So we can reverse it, spin it, and say, oh, well, that confession you made, it was a distress signal. It was you wanting to kill yourself, because it really didn't happen, because we know there are no screenshots of it. It's lawyer talk. It's fucking lawyer talk. Because a lawyer who is out to get you to sue Jisoo, who was pushing these confessions and shit from these girls and whatever, that's how you get out of that one. The one case that's still open. The one case that nobody can prove anything right or wrong. That's how you get out of it. It was a suicide letter and you were distressed, and that's why you wrote it. Because they know from the fucking twit longer there is no receipt for it. That's lawyer talk. That's fucking lawyer talk.
I have never sent explicit images to any underage individual. I have never made travel arrangements with ulterior motives with any underage individual. I have never been touched or touched in any shape or form any underage individual. And I have never had conversations with only the intention to groom an underage individual or take advantage of them. Anything you may have heard or seen that suggests otherwise is a lie.
That last part, sir, do you remember what was in those goddamn messages? Sir, but you notice he also did not say anything about, I did not ask for, he said I did not receive pictures from underage individuals. He never said anything before, like I didn't ask for any pictures from underage individuals. He didn't say that.
Did we read the same messages? Because that's what it looked like to me, mate. Talking about messages, Technicals accidentally leaked these ones on stream. It's ZeRo talking about Katie, and shocker, he doesn't sound like he's sorry at all.
Also,
Okay. Now there's going to be the next section coming up where John Swan goes into why Technicals did this, okay? This is where I'm going to differ from John Swan just slightly. I think John Swan is correct, but I think there's something added to it also, and it's in these fucking DMs. Remember, ZeRo is suing Jisoo. Jisoo fucked over Sky Williams. Technicals did the video on Sky Williams to clear Sky Williams and show Jisoo was lying and plotting and shit like that, right? That's why he's pushing so hard to clear ZeRo. This was a setup from the fucking beginning. And I'm going to show you one fucking line that proves it. Here's Technicals right here in these DMs that he accidentally leaked. Trust the plan, LOL. This is my field. Trust the plan. This was a setup from the fucking beginning. And some people have given grace to Technicals that, oh, ZeRo must have lied to him and stuff like that. It's been a setup since the fucking beginning. Because he clearly says, trust the plan. What's a plan? Something that you sit down and make for something for the future, right? Isn't that what a plan is? You plan to do things. Guess what also can be a plan? A fucking setup. I'm going to set ZeRo up to look good, even though there's still an open case, but we're going to slide right through it. And don't worry, we'll make the audience feel bad for you because, you know, you were suicidal and thank God you had your wife there. And I'll talk to a couple of the team members to show that you weren't bad to kids and that you only did it once and you slipped up. It was a fucking setup. Exactly, Skip. Strategy, tactical moves. And people were giving grace to Technical, and I think ZeRo lied to him. No, Technicals knew the whole fucking time. As soon as he got in contact with ZeRo, whatever kind of conversation they had been working together this whole fucking time. This was a fucking setup. You could see it from a mile away, from one fucking sentence. Trust the plan. Even up here, ZeRo tells him, because you clearly know what to do. Technicals, trust the plan. It's a fucking setup. It's a fucking setup. And he knew he had to do whatever he could do to make ZeRo look even okay, not perfect. He can't make him look perfect because those DMs are fucking disgusting. But what he can do is emotionally manipulate people into thinking and to feel sorry for ZeRo. And that was the plan, aka the setup. This was a fucking setup from the beginning. I'm sorry people didn't see that. And that's my addition to what John Swan's going to say in about, I don't know, a minute. In about a minute and a couple seconds.
This may be huge, but the next challenge is Katie. And the biggest question is still, who is she? And is she really who she says she is? I was thinking, if Jackie gets canceled, or is close to, which is very possible now, we may be able to pressure her hand to get Katie details. I have a great feeling there's manipulation in that story, and Katie herself. And since Katie is a ghost in the wind, we may be able to uncover her. So I'm just saying this could be a play. Jackie's a snake. She will throw Katie under the bus for self-preservation, if she has to. So we could use that.
For everything Katie went through, this just seems like a slap in the face. This guy clearly does not care about the damage he's caused.
He sure as fuck don't, because he's getting ready to get a ride to fucking redemption, because he knows Technicals is going to give him a ride to the road of the redemption. And that's exactly what happened. And it took a bunch of douchebags to go, wait a minute, hold up. It took creators that a lot of people don't like to say, hold up, wait a minute, hold on. Took Willie Mack to make a Twitter video going, hold up, wait a minute. Excuse me, sir. No. No. Hold up. No. No.
You know, a question I had while all of this was going down was, why is Technicals batting for this guy so hard? There's no question about it. What ZeRo has done is repulsive. So why is Tech trying to make excuses for him? It was on my mind for a while. At first I thought that he did it all.
Okay. I personally think that what he's about to say is correct, but I add what I just had a tangent about. I think it has to do with that lawsuit, and I think it has to do with everybody who screwed over Sky Williams. Especially Jisoo. Technicals fucking hates Jisoo. Like, fucking hates her. Like, a hate. So with what he's about to say, which, this gets bad, people, but with what he's about to say, and I add Jisoo. And that redemption arc is needed for ZeRo for his lawsuit to Jisoo.
To spy to Jisoo, who definitely sucks big time, by the way. But that didn't quite add up to me. Then I thought that he did it because he became friends with ZeRo, but apparently he hasn't known him for that long. So why? This just makes no sense. Well, my answer came from a place I didn't expect it. From the folks on Reddit. This situation...
Damn Reddit. It's always Reddit. It's always Reddit.
Involves allegations surrounding Technical's brother. And before anyone has a go at me for going after family members, Tech's brother was a public figure in the Smash scene at the time of these allegations, and has since amassed an audience of nearly 1 million followers on TikTok, over 40,000 YouTube subscribers, and 12,000 Twitch followers.
He's a content creator. He's not private. All is fair in love and war. When it comes to that, he's not private. This isn't like going for family members as in, I don't know, your family member hit somebody while they were drunk driving. No, it's not that. He was actually in the Smash community. He was a public figure in the Smash community. He is a public figure now. So where some say, oh, that was a low blow, Because what happened, it actually shows a pattern of behavior.
Back in the day, this situation got so big that Tech had to make a public response. Tech still shouts him out publicly and talks him up on podcasts.
The guy in that sketch is my brother. He's also a content creator.
Oh, what's his channel?
Pixel
See, he's not private. His own brother said he was a content creator. That's his twin brother, actually.
Drink. He's also on TikTok.
Oh,
yeah.
Check that shit out.
He was even at VidCon this year, rubbing shoulders with some of the biggest creators in commentary.
Just to clarify, this is the same guy we met at VidCon?
Yeah. This is definitely fair game. So, with that out of the way, let's progress. Last year, allegations of sexual misconduct were levied against Technical's brother, known online as Turtle SSB or BJ. The allegations stated that in 2016, BJ had sent not safe for work art and nudes of himself to a group chat with the minors in it.
So if you're unaware, Twitlonger was released earlier today about me addressing some things that happened in...
Okay, and I would like to say real quick before we get into this, that goddamn video by his brother, I'll just say this, is definitely Technical's brother. Because that video was so fucking condescending, I wanted to throw my phone when I watched it. It was so condescending. I was like, oh my God, are you serious?
2016 when I was 19 years old.
For most people that know BJ, you may know he's a pretty good artist. He would constantly share drawings he's made on his social media into our friend group chat because they were really nice and it's a skill to be proud of. I don't know if it's as well known, but he was also very much into creating NSFW art as well.
So as some of you may know, I like to draw. So back in 2016, I wanted to get better at drawing, so I started drawing NSFW art in an attempt to improve my skills at drawing anatomy. So I did that. I started drawing hentai.
No matter what he drew, I would usually appreciate it simply for what it was because it was so well done, NSFW or not. I remember one night opening Discord and finding out that he made a very graphic drawing of my friend 16 and I 17 having sex. He sent it to our Discord server. To me, this was extremely disturbing and disgusting. I did not consent to this. Plainly said, I felt violated and humiliated by this drawing's existence.
It became a running gag in the group chat that I was in that had people from 13 years old up into, I was the oldest, I was 19. Became a running gag to sort of ship each other together in pairings. So how it started was there was art that was drawn of me with another person in the group chat that was obviously underage. I think I was the only person that was an adult at the time. Without my consent, and a couple other images were drawn with similar pairings of other people in the group chat. So then I took it upon myself to join in on the joke that we were all partaking in and drew an image of Albie with another person in the group chat who I will not name.
He was also 19 at the time of making it, which makes it even more disturbing that he made a drawing involving two real-life minors. Remember, not fictional characters. To him and a few others, it was seen as a really funny drawing and they posted it over and over laughing about it, but I remember expressing how uncomfortable I was over it. It is beyond me why he would do this, but he also proceeded to upload this drawing to the Rule 34 website.
Those images don't exist anymore because I deleted them. They were on Rule 34 up until a couple days ago, but then I deleted them because I didn't want them to exist anymore because they're really weird and gross.
You don't think people took screenshots of that shit? Do you think just because you deleted them off that website that they're gone forever? Or listen, I'm old and I even know those images aren't gone forever. I'm just saying.
So I went to go take them down because I haven't looked at it since 2016. Really dumb of me to post it online anyway.
Now I want to address another problem I have with BJ. I don't think there's too much explanation that we'll need to go into these simply because it's all in the screenshots. To give context, there were a few people involved in a group chat in which the majority of the members' ages range from 13 to 16.
Oh, no, go back.
While BJ himself was 19 at this point, I believe. Here are some messages and screenshots saved from him interacting with them and sending nude images of himself.
So let's move on to the nude pictures that were shared in the chat. In this chat, this group chat that had people from 13 years old to my age, 19 at the time, the conversations would often veer off into like adult topics like porn, sex, etc. Just thinking back on that now, that's like a red flag. I should have
You think?
Them and sending nude images of himself.
So let's move on to the nude pictures that were shared in the chat. In this chat, this group chat that had people from 13 years old to my age, 19 at the time, the conversations would often veer off into like adult topics like porn, sex, etc.
Okay, first of all, why are you even talking with 13-year-olds about porn, sex, or whatever? First of all, okay. Why are those conversations in that chat?
Just thinking back on that now, that's like a red flag. I should have removed myself from the chat as soon as conversations started to veer off in that manner. We would often try to like shield the 13-year-old from like those kind of conversations, but they would still happen in the chat. Like there's nothing stopping them from scrolling up and reading it. They would also like make separate group chats amongst themselves, myself not included, where they would share nude photos of themselves with each other, which is really weird thinking about it. It was like a weirdly sexual environment. Conversation.
Oh, notice he says weird sexual environment. Because his brother Technicals, when he was debating Augie during the Keemstar fight, Technicals was like, oh, it wasn't sexual. It wasn't sexual. No, it wasn't like that. It was a joke. It was just a joke. It wasn't sexual. But your own brother in the fucking confession said it was sexual.
Would often delve into like adult topics, and they would share nudes of themselves and lewd pictures amongst themselves, and sometimes in the chat that I was in. So I thought it would be funny to post a picture of myself in the chat just for like shock value. I thought it was really fucking funny. I was rolling laughing after I posted it.
In the next pair of screenshots, you can see him imply that he would be sending a nude image and is immediately informed and reminded of a 13-year-old being in the chat. Looking at the timestamps, you can see he disregards this and proceeds to send the image anyways.
As you can see in Albie's tweet longer, I was made aware that of the person that was 13 years old in the group chat, or 14, I think, I can't remember. And I posted it anyway.
He posted it anyway. Yeah, he posted it anyway.
So they were like, oh, bro, don't post it. Remember, there's a kid in this chat. And I was like, oh. And then I just posted the picture.
This final set of screenshots are just a collection of him still repeatedly sending nude images of himself to the same group chat over and over while knowing it's full of minors.
Oh, but Technical said it was only once.
By the way he responds, you can tell this is no accident.
So I posted that picture myself, and that was pretty much the end of it from there. I don't feel like there's much I can say about that. There's no excuse for it. It's fucking weird.
Okay, so this is weird as hell. But what does Technicals have to do with all of this? Well, let's watch his response and find out.
This is in regards to the twit longer about my brother. Yes, I was in the group chat.
Excuse me, what? Technicals was in this group chat? No!
I was in every group chat.
Okay, notice how Technicals just say I was in every group chat. So when John Swan dropped this video, tell me why. Now Technicals, I guess not remembering what he fucking said on video. Now Technicals is on Twitter saying he wasn't in all the group chats. But here he's saying he was in all the group chats. So which is it? But I tell you this much, he was definitely in the group chat that his brother dropped his dick in. Let's rewind on Technical saying. Okay, hold on.
Watch his response and find out.
This is in regards to the twit longer about my brother. Yes, I was in the group chat.
Excuse me, what? Technicals was in this group chat? No!
I was in every group chat because I was the leader.
He was also the leader.
Oh, Technicals, why?
I was leader of the crew that we made, which was this gigantic chat group of people in high school, adults, all this other shit. Yes, I was in the group chat. And I made it very apparent at the time that if anyone had a problem with someone in the group chat, to come to me and we would resolve it. At the specific period they're referencing in the twit longer, I remember this because me, along with everyone else, came to BJ and told him that was a really fucking stupid thing to do. Don't do something like that again, because we are in a group chat where, you know, it might be bad for other people. Told him it was stupid, never to do it again, and guess what? He didn't do it again.
Hey, it's John from the future here. This isn't even true. If we look back in the screenshots that were provided with the twitlong,
December 24th, 2016.
We can see that the first time BJ did this was the 24th of December, 2016. And then he did it again on February the 18th, 2017. So he did do it again. That's just a complete and utter lie from Technicals.
Most people were just outraged because it was an outrageous thing to do, because that's how my brother is. He does fucking outrageous things and then doesn't.
It's just how my brother is. He does outrageous shit all the time. You know? And ZeRo, he only did it once, and that confession was a suicide letter. He was in a bad place.
doesn't think out the consequences of his actions. And obviously that came to bite him in the butt here because someone had receipts of him being outrageous. I did what I could have.
Oh, yeah. Damn, somebody had receipts of him being outrageous. Well, shit.
At the time, told him it was a bad move. I didn't condone any of that shit.
That was quite the roller coaster, wasn't it? Okay, let's break this down. So, at no point did Technicals, as the leader of this chat, think that the not safe for work art being sent into the chat with minors was a bad idea. At no point did he think that the people drawing minors performing sex acts should be removed from the chat. At no point did he think that having his brother in the chat full of minors after he sent his dick was a bad idea. Look, I get it. He was younger back then and he may not make the right call, but why is he still
Yeah, I'll answer this. That happened 5 years ago in a group chat. My brother did not start this. It was done by others in MS Paint as a joke because they mutually thought it was funny. Then my brother joined in for the laughs. I had no involvement and apologies were made a year ago. So you're blaming the minors. Because also in those two little videos you can see on Twitter, you can go to Technical's Twitter and see them. And the second one, he says the kids started it. The underage people started it. Well, sir, as the leader, you should have nuked that shit and got rid of everybody who was doing it. To be fair, they weren't all dick pics. Yeah, there was several pictures, but apparently 2 of them were dicks. They weren't all dick pics. He had a towel wrapped around his waist in one of those pics. Regardless, doesn't undo the pic that was of his dick.
defending his actions to this day. When all this stuff came out, I assumed that Tech was also a minor at the time, since BJ said in his statement that he was the only adult in the chat.
I think I was the only person that was an adult at the time.
But it came out later that they're actually twins, so therefore, Tech was also an adult at the time.
Obviously,
Okay.
I was in the chat and we're twins, so
So
do the
you
math.
were the other. Okay, well, I didn't know you're twins.
Maybe we just have different standards, but if this was me, I would have removed the people sending the not safe for work art, and certainly would have removed BJ. Look, I understand that slip-ups could potentially happen. For example, you could forget how young some of the members are and send some not safe for work stuff on accident. But this was not an accident. It wasn't just like a few slip-ups. According to Tech himself, it was a running joke.
It's a joke. It was a running joke. is
Of
what I was
naked
saying.
children? Is that what he was drawing? Like, what did he draw?
It's just so bad, dude. When Tech was called out more recently for this, I think the natural response would have been to take the fall and walk it back. But this guy just went completely off the rails and decided that it would be a good idea to post the depiction of the minor having sex with BJ.
Yeah, I'll answer this. Okay, and they were made. Yes, he posted the picture on Twitter, and kind of heard it was horrendous. The one picture, heard the other one was like MS Paint, like really crudely drawn, but the other picture, the one actually held, that was I heard it was pretty bad. I didn't see it, but. Yeah, Amber Chick, damn, imagine Augie being the voice of reason. I'm gonna be honest. Everybody knows Augie hates me. But no, I fully stand behind every single one of them who've been getting on Technical's ass behind this. I do. I fully stand behind them. I do. I'm sorry, because I think they're right. I think they're 100% correct in this. And I have been thinking about... I pretty much came to the conclusion that they had about Technicals, how many days was it, Skip? Like 11 days before they started vocally getting out about it? I agree with them. I came up with most of the points, not all the points, because some of them were like, oh, shit. But most of the points I pretty much came to on my own. So yeah, no, Nicholas Diorio, Bo Blacks, John Swan, Augie, Tipster, I agree with every single one of them. I do. I agree with every single one of them. In this, they are, to me, 100% correct. Honestly. In my heart, that's how I feel.
He just put this up publicly on his Twitter. I unfortunately did
exactly all that jazz. Absolutely. Well, defending pedos is reprehensible. 100%. 100%. I may not agree with everything with them. I may not agree with everything. But this, I 100% agree with them on. I do. And I 100% agree when they found out about the brother and why they put it out there. Because he was a public figure, and it showed that Technicals defend he condemns shit like this, but turns around and defends it at the same time. It shows a pattern of behavior. So it was a good point to make. I agreed with it. Until Willie said something, I was okay, hold on. Wait, okay. Until Willie said something, I was just watching them, fully convinced all those motherfuckers were high. Yeah. I mean, they gave their criticism about that Katie part in the Augie stream. You know, but they were still like kind of cool with still Technicals and everything. I have to admit, yeah, when Willie came out with that video on Twitter, that's when everybody went all in. Because Willie was like, okay, guys, no, hold the fuck up. Hold the fuck up. No, Willie went all in with that video. And it was a very short Twitter video. It wasn't even the whole 2 minutes you can do. But he made his point like that.
did see the images. One of them is pretty crudely drawn, with the other one being far more detailed. Needless to say, I scrubbed my phone's cache and muted Tech on Twitter. I do not know why he decided it would be a good idea to post this, only after getting called out and flamed by fans and fellow creators.
Poor Kavos. This shit's funny. Kavos like, I have no idea what you guys are all beefing about, but I just looked at this recent tweet and now my weekend is ruined. It was so bad that Kavos said something about it and he's not even in the shit. He's not even in the fucking beef. He's just like, hold up, wait a minute. What the fuck did I just see? That's how bad that tweet was. Oh, poor. I never saw it. Thank God I never saw it. Oh my God.
Creators, did he decide to delete the tweet? Couldn't have come sooner, mate. This whole situation is absolutely insane to me, but it does also put the ZeRo stuff into perspective. If Tech had to come out and wholeheartedly condemn ZeRo, he would have had to condemn his brother as well. And to a certain extent, he would even have to condemn himself.
I don't think guilty by association really counts in this because everyone realized it was shit. Even BJ realized it was shit and never did it again. If you want to tag me...
Wait, haven't we heard that before? And never did it again. Could have sworn we heard that one before. Never did it again. Oh, that's right. ZeRo never did it again. That's right. ZeRo never did it again, huh? Never did it again. ZeRo never did it again either, huh? Just saying.
Me with that somehow, that's cool. I'm not gonna get canceled for it, and I won't really care past this response, so yeah.
Well, you should care because you were the leader of those chats. Guess who responsibility also falls on? The leader of those chats. How many people have we seen? People trying to cancel them over what goes on their Discord, and it's their Discord. How many people have we seen get canceled over shit that happened in a Discord and it was their Discord? And they would have been fully canceled if they didn't take care of that shit. How many times have we seen that? Thank you, Artsy. Yep, they tried it with EC. Yep. Sure did. They sure did. You were the leader of those group chats. The responsibility also lies on you and how you took care of it. You knew they were making that NSFW, artwork. It should have stopped there. That's where it should have stopped. And everybody who's running around going, it was a joke, it was a joke. I'm telling you now. If I found out my 13-year-old was in a group chat with a bunch of adults, or not a bunch of adults, if my child was in a group chat with other kids, other underage people, and some over their age people, you know what I'm saying, like some adults, all right, and I found out they were talking about sex and porn and drawing pictures like that, let alone somebody dropping their dick, I would not be sitting here right now. That's all I'm going to say. I would not be sitting here right now. Come on, computer. Don't be dumb. So.
That's all I have to say.
Okay, so humor me here. What if we remove the actions of BJ for a moment, so we're not using guilty by association? Let's see exactly what Tech is guilty of himself by comparing his statement to his brother's account of what went down in the group chat.
In this group chat that had people from 13 years old to my age, 19 at the time, the conversations would often veer off into like adult topics like porn, sex, etc. Just thinking back on that now, that's like a red flag. I should have removed myself from the chat as soon as conversations started to veer off in that manner.
Yes, I was in the group chat. I was in every group chat because I was the leader.
Conversations would often delve into like adult topics, and they would share nudes of themselves and lewd pictures amongst themselves, and sometimes in the chat that I was in.
Technicals owned a group chat with his brother. Did you not?
Did you own the group chat, Technicals?
Yes, I was the leader of the group.
Okay, so you're just snipping a detail that I'm getting correct
I thought the
here.
word owned was funny.
Hold on. So you're telling me that Technicals at the age of 19 was the leader of a group chat where minors were sending nudes and lewd images of themselves, and he did absolutely nothing to stop them? His brother seemed to notice that sexual stuff was talked about very often. So Tech, as the leader, had to have been aware of this as well, right? And yet, he doesn't address this anywhere in his response at all. I'm not trying to imply anything here, but this is incredibly strange. I could not imagine a situation where I or anyone I know would ever let this happen.
Back then, on Messenger, you couldn't delete messages, so the image was just stuck there.
So you're saying the nude and lewd images of the minors were cached on your device as well? This just keeps getting worse and worse. Why would you ever let your brother post this video? It's so incriminating. It's important to note that when you're the leader of a group chat like this, where adults and minors are mingling, the responsibility to keep conversations from veering off into inappropriate directions does lie on you.
Bingo. Listen, they're in my members only Discord, where I have members and mods, which Tetra I need to, well, I don't even know if you're even on Discord anymore, Tetra. But I have, the joke was, as soon as people started, getting into that, getting that Discord, the joke is that there could be no damn screenshots coming out of that Discord because my rules are so strict in that Discord. My rules are extremely strict in that Discord. I'm not trying to see shit. No, negative. No. Oh my God, Amber, you can cuss in there. I don't have a no cussing rule. The hell? Amber out here making it sound like it's worse than what it is. Skip says, mind you, there was resurfaced by someone else on Twitter who got it off of Reddit. Tech's stance is that it's a low blow and irrelevant. How not? There are parallels, hypocrisy, and reveals possible motive. Therefore relevant. Bingo. Exactly. Yeah, I don't want to see any buns. I don't want to see... no. I don't want to see any of that. And I'm sorry that I do not have a fun Discord because, yeah. I don't even like people talking about small channels in that damn Discord. No. I'm trying to watch my mouth, ma'am. Amber Chick's like, I'm being stifled in this Discord. Side chat says, I had no idea how bad those chats were until John's video. It definitely puts things in a whole new perspective regarding technicals. He literally just as bad and so manipulative. Yes. All right.
It's also your responsibility to make sure that the minors are aware of boundaries so that situations like the one we've discussed today can be avoided. It's a responsibility that technicals should have taken more seriously. I would be okay with him if he came out and admitted that he could have taken more action at the time, but he's doubled down on his stance again and again.
And that's what he does. Okay. Technicals is so disingenuous when he argues, and it doesn't matter whether he's in voice or he's texting on Twitter. He is so disingenuous in the way he argues. He talks in circles. You ask him a direct question, he comes with well, how about this? Well, how about this? He never answers the fucking question. Never.
And again. He was an adult, and letting this shit run wild was an absolute failure on his part. It's so incredibly irresponsible that I can't even begin to put it into words. His morals are clearly all over the place if he thought that this was okay. And just to remind you, this is the guy we're getting behind to tell us who should and who should not be let back into the community. Throughout Technical's time of creating...
I'm sorry. I'm not going to take the word of Technicals on who should come, not after that fucking ZeRo video. And this was before we even found out about the fucking group chat shit. Take the group chat shit to the side. That ZeRo video showed me I can't trust Technicals' word anymore. I cannot trust his word anymore. Because he's disingenuous. Even in video form, he is disingenuous.
Investigations into Smash, I believe that he's done some genuinely great work. Some people have unreasonably had their reputations completely ruined and deserve a second chance. Technicals was able to vindicate these people, and with that, he achieved a certain level of credibility within the space. But some people are better left to the side.
Amen.
I know Tech likely feels a lot of attachment to these topics since it's affected him on a personal level in the past, but I believe that he's let his emotions get the best of him. And when you're working with delicate cases such as these, it's important not to let facts be dictated by your feelings. It pains me to say this, but I don't think I can take any future Technicals video at face value anymore.
Amen.
And I invite you to ask yourself the same thing. Is this the person we should be listening to when it comes to who should and who should not be allowed back into the...
Small Easter egg, he's doing Technicals' outro of this video. Okay. Just some funny, petty shit. The level of pettiness, but it's subtle pettiness. Well, it's not so subtle with the suspenders and the white shirt and everything and the spotlight and stuff. But the level of pettiness that John Swan did in this video, I fully respect. I fully respect. He even used the same music that Technicals used. I respect it.
The community? I'm gonna let you decide. But needless to say, I'm pretty disappointed. Tech, I don't hate you, man, but you've deflected everyone that has tried to knock some sense into you these past few weeks. So maybe something like this is the only thing that'll get you to listen to some reason. I hope you'll change for the better. But everyone else, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.
And then you know what happened on Twitter after this video dropped, and about an hour after the video dropped, because, people watched it, the hashtag welcome back John Swan started. Because remember, Technicals started the welcome back ZeRo hashtag. Everybody started going hashtag welcome back John Swan. So I think John Swan knocked it out of the park with this video. And I will stand here and say, I back up Augie and them with this. I do. I agree fully with Augie, Tom, Nicholas Diorio, Tipster, all of them. I agree with them on this. 100%. 100%. I agree with them. I don't care about, past issues or issues I currently have or anything. When it comes to this specific thing, I agree with them 100%. And yes, it was the quack, because remember how somebody kept saying don't quack John Swan, stop quacking. It was a quack. It was a very loud quack with this one. Okay, Skip. So I'm sorry. I think what Technicals did was very disingenuous, and he's been disingenuous this whole entire time, and I believe it was a setup so ZeRo could sue Jisoo, because we desperately want to go against the people who fucked over Sky Williams. And that's what it boils down to. I'm not worried about Danny DeVito's hashtag. Because I can distinct whether I like someone or not versus whether I agree with them or not. She fucked over Sky Williams with that whole shit, and she's, yeah. No, I'm sorry. I don't care if I like you or not. If I agree with you, I agree with you. He did. He had a good take this time. Yes, he did. This time he had a good take. I absolutely 100% agree. He absolutely did. So, what'd y'all think? Any questions, concerns, or anything like that? I wasn't eating Twix. I was eating peanut butter fudge. Amber Chick. And he didn't have a weird shirt on. I'm okay. Girl, that one shirt. Lord have mercy. I know exactly what shirt you're talking about, too. Oh my God, that shirt was horrendous. That was... Ooh, that shirt. Well, Spooky, I hope you feel better. Sidechat says, John did deserve credit for this one. He did a great job breaking it all down for those that might have been confused and didn't have all the information. That's another thing, too, I liked about this video. Because in order to gain all the information and what went on, etc., it was a lot of live streams. A lot of live streams. Because there was some side shit happening, too. And now, with the extension of this, now there's some more side shit happening. This Technicals video, literally, that ZeRo video has literally spawned different arguments between people. People, it has nothing to do with. it has spawned different arguments. And some of the arguments, I'm sitting there like, are you fucking serious? Are y'all really arguing about this right now? Isn't it more important to talk about what ZeRo did with the 14-year-old girl? Isn't it more important to talk about what's going on with ZeRo and that 14-year-old girl? Don't you think that's the more important fucking conversation? I already answered that, but Gail, I'm sorry. Somebody who screwed over Sky Williams. Yeah, exactly, Grandpa. You would think people would just stop doing this kind of stuff. Yeah, you would think so. Kate says, I just think this whole PR campaign is a defensive projection from technicals to justify his brother's behavior and his enabling. You know, I get that part of the aspect of it. I do. And I agree with John on that part of the aspect of it. I do. I just think it also has to do with ZeRo putting the lawsuit on Jisoo. Because what did Technical say in that DM that he accidentally leaked? Trust the process. You know what I'm saying? Trust, but he was in it from the beginning. It was a setup. So. Yeah, trust the plan. Excuse me. The plan. That's it. Sorry, Skip. You're right. Trust the plan. It was a setup. It was a setup. As soon as I can't remember whose live stream I was in when they started talking about, when they started reading those DMs that he accidentally leaked when he was live streaming. But as soon as I heard that part, I was like, what does a plan mean? What does a plan mean? That means y'all are setting something up. Yeah, Kate. I definitely think the motivation behind this is multifaceted and calculated. Absolutely. Absolutely. Taylor, it's actually easier than you think to leak DMs when you're using something like StreamYards or whatever, because you might have accidentally not closed that DM and you're switching stuff around and all of a sudden it pops up. That's why I always go off camera like this if I go to Twitter to make sure my DMs aren't up. Yeah, dumb things happen when you stream. That's for damn sure. So, all right. Anything else before I get out of here? Remember, the podcast number 11 is dropping tomorrow. It's going to be Willie Mack, and he has some exclusives that he says in there. And the one that was an honest conversation that will be going out to the public tomorrow as well. Oh, and I will be, y'all know me, I'll be linking this video in the description box below, and I will link Technical's video down below. And if you decide to watch the Technical's video, I want you to compare it to John Swan's video. I want you to compare it. Because to me, the most important part starts at the Katie. And you'll see it. Katie types it out just like you showed. But yeah, no problem, Salty. Alright, guys. Well, I'm going to get out of here. And y'all have a good night. And remember, keep it real.